First impressions, we have some guys making plays, which is good to see. We turned the ball over way too much today. What we got to do is we got to develop a consistency in performance, and we got to continue to improve on a daily basis. There's been progress. I see guys stepping up, but overall, we don't have the consistency we want right now.
At quarterback, obviously looking at a lot of different guys.
We are.
What have you seen so far?
Well, again, we're throwing them into all kinds of situations. We're going to do situational scrimmage tomorrow with more live, play it out type of play calls. So, again, up and down across the board. I think we need more consistency. Got to do a better job protecting the football. We put them in some tough situations today just to see how they would respond. But overall, they're all competing. They all understand the task at hand, and they're working hard.
Is it tougher at all to structure practice when you're trying to give four guys an equal shot at quarterback?
It's a lot of strategic planning that goes into it, from what types of throws, what types of D&Ds. Again, there's a lot of thought that goes in the process, and yes, it's more difficult because we're trying to rep more guys.
Are those four guys pushing each other in a way that you like to see, even if every day's not perfect?
They work well together. They compete. They're all competitive by nature, yet supportive of one another, supportive of their teammates. So we talk a lot about the power of the position. It starts here with representing the power team, representing the history of the quarterback position here at the University of Tennessee. So they understand that they're playing for that first and for our teammates first, while they're competing against one another. So we want to make sure that we have success as a group and individually.
Mike, you talked about kind of what it takes to rep four guys equally, and obviously they know that every rep that they're getting is important and going to be evaluated. Do you see guys pressing, or do you see any of those guys pressing with the reps that they do get a little bit?
They understand that they have to take advantage of their opportunities. And again, the decision's not going to be made after one practice, not going to be made after one throw. It's the accumulation of reps, it's the accumulation of your body of work. And as long as they understand that they have to manage the offense and manage it consistently, then they'll be all right.
With so many changes up front on the offensive line, has that been about what you expected in terms of some of the challenges there so far this spring?
Those guys have done a good job at developing chemistry quickly. Again, that's not uncommon for offensive linemen. They're a different breed. They came in here. They've done a lot of work on their own in the months of January and February, early here in March before we even started spring ball. So I was pleasantly surprised when we hit the ground running on day one of the grasp of the offense for the new guys like Dontavius Blair and Coleman Thomas, and how quickly they were able to understand what the calls are and the schemes.
Can you ever remember going into a season where, I know you've had them both now for spring, obviously, but going into a season where both possible first-team tackles were not on the roster in the previous year?
Hard to remember. We've had to replace as many as 3, even 4 offensive linemen before. But again, it's part of college football. You're used to battling the depth issue and used to having to develop guys. It's definitely college football across the country is a developmental process. So we understand what we got to do with these guys.
Do you like what you see from Bond? You obviously had the catcher there today. I'm sure you had so that you liked.
Bond's very, very, very talented, and we're throwing a lot at him early, and he's done a good job of making plays. Again, I think the receiver corps in general has really stepped up this spring. Marquez North has done a really good job of going up and out-jumping defensive backs and making diving catches. Bond also has done a good job with the ball in his hands. Josh Malone has flashed at times. So the group as a whole, Jason Kroom is really coming on. The group as a whole has improved tremendously. Vaughn, again, as a new player, who just got to grasp the offense, the X's and O's and all that we're throwing at him now.
Because he's 23 and been a long time since high school, does he have any kind of more maturity or polish than a freshman or even a new JUCO guy?
Sure. Vaughn brings a unique perspective and has been a good resource for the other 14 newcomers that are here this winter for the first time. And his perspective is he's seen the other side. He's seen what it's like to work at McDonald's and to do the same thing day in and day out at an 8-to-5 job or a 9-to-5 job. And so he comes every day to work with some energy, with some passion. And frankly, it's pretty infectious. And I love being around him. And he's a guy that has the other newcomers have rallied around to kind of get the lay of the land. And I think it's unique, not so much to the fact that he's a junior college player, but just his life experiences.
Just as a play caller, how much more flexibility are you going to have with more experience, quarterback, receiver, and kind of all over the skill positions at least?
Time will tell as we develop consistency. Again, if we're going to lean on guys and rely on guys to make plays, they need to do it on a consistent basis. We've been able to make the extraordinary play, but we haven't been able to do it consistently.
With Vaughn in particular, he's played some in the slot and some. Is he a versatile guy that can do a lot of different things?
Again, very talented. Can stretch the field vertically with his speed and his ability to catch a deep ball, and at the same time, does a good job making defenders miss once he has the ball in his hand. So we got to figure out multiple ways to get him the ball again, but we don't want to move too fast with him because he needs to grasp everything mentally.
How much will the progress of the offensive line affect the way that you play the game?
We keep it simple for them, schematically. So I think their progress. I'm happy with the progress they've made to this point. So I don't think their inexperience will hamper us in any way as it relates to scheme or play call.
Is there one that's easier than the other for young guys to learn run blocking or pass protecting that might help to lean more to one?
It's a matter of strength and speed. Frankly, I think more than anything for guys like Coleman Thomas and Dontavius Blair, it's not the scheme, and it's not the skill. It's the speed of the defenders and the strength of the defenders that is the biggest adjustment for them.
Mike, I'm sorry I'm late over here. I'm sure you've already been asked.
We'll forgive you for that.
Thank you. The next step for the quarterbacks, not only tomorrow, but next week while they're gone on spring break, what is it that they have to do? Consistency.
First and foremost, they have to do a good job of protecting the football and managing the offense. Hasn't really changed. Again, we could say it's the next step, but it seems to always be the next step. Execute the offense as it's designed to be executed. So for those guys, we turned the ball over too many times today, and we just have to develop a consistency in performance.
Butch was pretty displeased with their tempo on Tuesday, at least from a tempo, if not ball security standpoint. Did they bounce back today in that regard?
We have our moments. I think we've done a good job this spring as compared to last fall and last spring of playing at an up tempo. We've done quite a few things to emphasize it. But again, as it relates to execution, same thing applies to tempo. It's a matter of executing the tempo we want on a consistent basis.
Any early impressions of Jalen Hurd?
Yes, I like his physicality. Does not shy away from contact at all, puts his face in the fan, almost too aggressively at time in terms of he needs to make sure that he pays attention to his technique as opposed to just throwing his body around. But I'm happy with the progress he's made. He's grasping the offense mentally and physically.